Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to break down the 10-game NBA main slate on Wednesday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos and live stream for NBA and NFL slates on Draftkings. If you guys cannot watch these videos, I do upload an Apple Podcast. I have a link down below. If you're interested in signing up for premium content, and I'll offer that on patreon.com. Esports, NBA, which includes NFL for free. A couple different packages. Again, link down below. And then I want to thank Prize Picks for sponsoring this show. If you guys are not familiar with what Prize Picks is, well, it's a site where you're basically taking over-unders on fantasy points. So, for example, tomorrow, Kevin Durant projected for 48 fantasy points. Do you like the under? Do you like the over? I would say without Kyrie, probably take the over. With Kyrie in, it's going to be interesting to see how those three work together. So, if you guys want to sign up, you can use the code DKDFS. DKDFS, all one word. Link down below. You get a 100% match up to $100. You put $100 in, you get $200 to play with, and you can mix and match sports. They have NBA, NFL, esports, college, PGA, all that good stuff. And then finally, I want to thank you guys again, seriously, for the continued support. It's been overwhelming recently, closing in at 8,000 subscribers. So thank you, guys. If you do enjoy this content, if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos, you know when I go live. Let's aim for 200 likes in this video. And as always, I will be doing a YouTube live stream before lock to go over everything, answer all your guys' questions. But with that all out of the way, let's jump into the video. So really excited. We actually have a playable slate, because the slate tonight was literally the worst slate ever. I had zero confidence, and I can fully admit that, right? I hated this slate. And there's no issues with taking a slate off. And I was trying to hammer that down to YouTube, Patreon. I was like, guys, either take the slate off or play very, very light, because there was no edge in the slate. Absolutely no edge. First of all, like small slates, there's a lot of variance involved anyway. Second of all, it's just there's no edge. So I basically played, the big $15 or $18 tournament, and that was it. That's all I played, because I had zero confidence in this slate. Again, I fully can admit that. This slate sucked. But we can go over my lineup real quick. I got to admit, you got to cover your eyes. This could be one of the worst lineups I've ever constructed. So, just got to warn you. Let's go over it. Jamal Murray, PJ Dozier, Kenrich Williams, Isaiah Roby, Jokic, SGA, Williamson, and Muscala. So basically, I want a full game stack Oklahoma City, Denver. I thought that game had more upside if it stayed close. It did not. And I knew the risk, right? That game had the better chance to blow out. It blew out. It happens. Now, value-wise, I had, again, zero confidence. Zero confidence in Kenrich Williams. I even said that. I was like, he could play 5 minutes tonight. I would not be surprised. He literally played 5 minutes. Literally. So, again, with those Oklahoma City guys, they go with a hot hand. I was hammering that down. All, videos live stream. How can you trust it, right? So I didn't want to put my money on the line to try to guess which Oklahoma City value guy gets there, or which secondary play takes over, right? It was Lou Dort again tonight. But Lou Dort, I don't trust that at all. So, I basically want stars and scrubs here. Again, Kenrich Williams barely played. Mike Muscala, nice 2 fancy points there. Just absolutely terrible. And then my core was Jokic, SGA, George Hill, who I thought I had in my lineup. Right, so last night someone was trolling me because I did not play all the members of my core. And I told everyone in the Patreon live stream, I was going full game stack of Chicago, Houston, right? And I told everyone that. It was full disclosure. But tonight, I thought I had everyone in. And that's literally how much I, did not like the slate. I was like, oh yeah, I have George Hill in there. And he was not in there. So give me the Homer Simpson gif, right? Me backing into the bushes. That was a complete mistake. I thought I had him in there, but either way, it didn't matter, right? It's just an absolutely terrible lineup. Either way, he was terrible too. Just no one was good. Absolutely terrible slate. So forgettable. So I'm ready to move on to an actually playable slate that we have on Wednesday. Again, I'll mention this one more time, but do not be afraid to take slates off. It is perfectly fine, right? This slate sucked, and I knew it going in. So yeah, I basically took it off. And I have no regrets because it was a horrible slate. So let's talk about this 10-game slate. So Brooklyn, or first let's go over the Vegas odds. And for some reason, some of the over-unders aren't out. Let me refresh this one more time. Yeah, they're not out for like barely any of the games. So the games that are out, they have the over-unders for. We have Mavs, Pacers, a 219 over-under. The Pacers are 1-point favorites. Pistons and the Hawks, a 221 over-under. The Hawks are 5.5-point favorites. Grizzlies and Trailblazers, a 222 over-under. The Trailblazers are 1.5-point favorites. And Kings, Clippers, a 231.5 over-under. The Clippers are 10.5-point favorites. So let's talk about Brooklyn and Cleveland. So Brooklyn, first time all three of these players will be playing with Harden, Durant, Kyrie. Well, Cleveland is not, I mean, it's a good matchup, but like they play slow. So for me on this 10-game slate, I'm probably just going to take a wait and see approach. I want to see how they all work together. If I was going to play one, I would just pick the cheapest in Kyrie Irving. But yeah, for now, like I'm just going to wait and see how they go about, how they play together. So I will personally be avoiding all of them. DeAndre Jordan priced up to 5.5. Well, if he plays 38 minutes again, I would like him. 28, 23 against a really big Orlando team in Vucevic and Aaron Gordon. And then just plays 38 minutes. So how many minutes to get from DeAndre Jordan? I have no idea. If he plays 38 minutes again, I would really like him. But how can you feel confident with that, right? So, yeah, I have no idea how many minutes he's going to play. I'm not playing Joe Harris in the slate. The value, absolutely no way with those three playing. So that's it. Pretty simple for Brooklyn. On the Cleveland side, it is, I'll make this really, really simple. I have absolutely no interest in anyone. All right, so let's move on to Dallas and Indiana. Dallas, Luka Doncic at 10-7. Secondary play in this matchup. Don't love the spot against the Pacers. You can go here in GPPs. He's got upside. Definitely has upside. Had an off game last game that'll probably lower the ownership. I think he's, again, decent GPP play, not a priority for me. Porzingis intrigues me more at 7-9 because minutes. 33, 32 in a blowout last game. So if we're going to get normal minutes of like 35 plus for Porzingis, he's actually viable here. So I do have some interest in Porzingis. Hardaway, I'm not paying that price for him. I'm not paying 5-1 for Cauley Stein. No thank you on Burke. If Brunson starts again at 4-3, I think you can make the argument for him for value. So only would have interest in him maybe if he starts, but really that's it. Like very little interest in Dallas. Let's move on to the Pacers. So, Domantas Sabonis, Malcolm Brogdon. Not really the best matchup, but these two are going to play enormous minutes. So, even in a tough spot, I think both are safe options, right? Sabonis just has such a high floor. Same with Brogdon. Brogdon with the assist. Again, he did not shoot the ball well last game. Not super worried about it. 8-3 is a very fair price. So, Brogdon and Sabonis are the two guys for me on the Pacers side. Got to keep an eye on Miles Turner. Also, Jeremy Lamb might be back. So, like, if these two are back, I don't have any interest in the value plays. If they're both out again, then we can make the argument for guys like Justin Holiday and Doug McDermott, who started and played 30 minutes. But you got to know what you're getting into out of Doug McDermott, right? He had a good shooting game last game. That's why he had a decent fantasy point game. If he does not, the floor is super, super low. So, and then, yeah, guys like Sumner, McConnell maybe would be viable if all those guys are out, but if Turner or Lamb or both are in, I have no interest in the Pacers value. Let's move on to Boston, Philly. So Boston, still no Tatum. Jaylen Brown at 8.7K. I think it's a decent option, right? Offense is going to be run through him. Should play mid-30s minutes. So I think he's firmly in play here. Even at that price, I don't have interest in Smart. Kemba's back, so I'm not going to play him in limited minutes, and that kind of just hurts Pritchard and Teague. Tyson Thompson seem priced about right. So very little interest in this Boston team. Robert Williams, maybe you could play him just because he's a good point per minute guy. Might play like 15-ish minutes. I could see taking a shot in him, but that's really it for Boston. Very little interest in this team. On the Philly side, Joel Embiid back, so Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris are overpriced. I'll pass. Joel Embiid himself, definitely viable. Embiid's always in play for GPPs. He's got literally 70-plus fantasy point upside, went for 82 in that game. So yeah, Embiid's fine in GPPs. Probably don't go there in cash, to be honest. I think I prefer other plays. Milton at that price with Embiid back seems priced about right, and I'm not going to play anyone else against Seth Curry's back too. So it's just like Philly's a team I will probably be avoiding. Let's move on to Detroit and Atlanta. So Detroit, Jeremy Grant at 7-7 is the guy for me. If I'm going to play someone, do like the matchup for him. He's been their best player, and he's playing like 35 minutes. He's getting a ton of shots up, literally 19 shot attempts in the last 4 games. So he's shooting a ton. He's getting assists. He's rebounding the ball. It's a good spot. I think Jeremy Grant's actually a pretty decent play there at 7-7. Blake Griffin again, he is washed. He'll have, a decent game here and there, but I'm not playing Blake Griffin and getting 12 fancy points in 36 minutes because there's times where he just completely defers. So, no. I would just rather pay the extra, $1,500 for Jeremy Grant. I'm not playing I'm not playing Blake Griffin. Derrick Rose, on the other hand, I think you could make the argument for him in GPPs. Played 27 minutes at last game. If we're going to get high 20s minutes out of Derrick Rose in this matchup, I think he's a viable GPP play. Everyone else, I am staying away from in this 10-game slate. Plumlee, minutes up and down. DeLon Wright with D-Rose back, minutes down. Josh Jackson, hard to trust. The rest of these guys, don't want to play him. So, pretty simple there for Detroit. Very little interest besides Jeremy Grant. Derrick Rose is viable in GPPs. Let's move on to Atlanta. So, got to talk about this price, right? I think the steal of the day, Kevin Huerter at 9.5K. 9.5K for Kevin Huerter. All right. That seems about right? Trey Young at 9.3. I actually do think he's a good GBP play. He's had 50-plus fantasy point upside, or 50-plus fantasy points the last two games. Good matchup here. So Trey Young, certainly viable for GBPs at that price. Clint Capella's been playing huge minutes. I don't know if this is going to continue, but 37 and then 39 minutes the last game. If we're going to get like 38 to 40 minutes from Clint Capella, then yeah, he is in play in a good spot here against Detroit. So curious to see if these minutes continue for him. But at the moment, I think he's viable if he gets those minutes. John Collins is taking a back seat to Capella. Don't want to go there. Hunter is always fine at 6'2". Safer play. Fine play. Everyone else, stay away. So let's move on to Miami and Toronto. Miami, still no Jimmy. Hero, questionable. And Dragic, I believe, is probable. Right? So if Hero is out again, it's Bam and it's Goran Dragic for me. Bam and Adebayo at 8'6". I know it's not necessarily the best spot, but he has a lot of upside, especially if Hero's out. Offenses are going to be run through him and Goran Dragic. So would like Bam a good amount if Hero's out. If Hero's in, I don't really like anyone in a bad matchup. And if Hero's out, it's Dragic and it's Bam and Adebayo. Dragic played 33 minutes. He's a decent point per minute guy. 5.7 is fair price. So would like Dragic, would like Bam if Hero's out. The only other guy I'll mention is Kendrick Nunn at 4K. Played 34 minutes off the bench. He would be a viable value play if Hero's out. So yeah, would have some interest in him for value, but that's it. Don't really like anyone else on the Miami side. Let's move on to Toronto. Siakam at 8K, secondary play. Lowry, Van Fleet, a little bit more viable, their respective prices, but still don't love it. I think I prefer other plays at similar prices. Boucher for the 15th straight slate is the guy for me for Toronto. Just continuing to play about 30 minutes, continuing to put up big fantasy point games, price not moving a ton. I know it's coming up like a couple $100 every slate. It is still not enough in my opinion. This guy can easily go for 50. He's gone for 48 and 46 in two of the last three games. The game against Charlotte, he got in foul trouble. So I think Chris Boucher is a solid play. Like him in both formats. Again, the minutes are there for him. Good point per guy. So Boucher is once again it for me. OG Anunoby, fine play at 5, 9 minutes will be there. It doesn't really stand out. Everyone else, stay away from me on the Toronto side. Let's move on to Orlando and Minnesota. So let's talk about point guard. Point guard Aaron Gordon. Point guard. No, but seriously, Aaron Gordon at 7-4, I actually do like a good amount. Love the matchup here against Minnesota. Absolutely love this matchup. This game in general, I think you could game stack. Really like Aaron Gordon, the upside. He's playing huge minutes in competitive games. So, yeah, Aaron Gordon at this price is one of my favorite plays. I also love Nikola Vucevic. Absolutely love Vooch here against Minnesota. No Karl-Anthony Towns, so not super worried about Vucevic getting in foul trouble. Should be able to feast against Naz Reid, Ed Davis, Jared Vanderbilt. Really like Vooch. Really like Aaron Gordon. They're two of my favorite plays in the slate. I definitely think you can game stack this one. Orlando still thin, so love the two forwards there for the Magic. Forward center with Vooch. Terrence Ross is not a guy to play. Just don't play him. Just too reliant on scoring for me. Has a low floor if he's not hitting his shots. Sure, can get you 25 to 30 if he's hitting shots, but I just don't play guys like that. Cole Anthony at 5'3" is intriguing. He's been up and down. He's flashed a little bit of upside, but also has flashed a low floor. Again, I do like the matchup a lot, so I think you can make the argument here for Cole Anthony at 5'3". Kem Burch is the other guy I will mention because he's getting about 25 minutes a game. He's a solid point per guy, so I think you could use him for value. The issue is he's center. We'll talk about some other centers later on that I do like, I think a little bit better. But Kem Burch, I think, is a viable value play. And yeah, that's it for the Magic. Let's move on to Minnesota. So no Karl-Anthony Towns. D'Angelo Russell at 8-8. I was really high on them in that early slate. Low ownership, 56 fantasy points. Man, he has that type of upside. The matchup against Orlando is actually pretty solid. The Magic have not been great defensively. So I actually do like D'Lo and GPPs here. Do I go here in cash? Probably can't go there in cash games, but I do like his upside a good amount. So D'Lo firmly in play. Malik Beasley below 7K. I like that. Again, these are the two guys that, if Minnesota are going to keep the game close, it's going to be these two. Now, Beasley shot the ball bad. 5 of 17. Still put up 30 fantasy points. Last game against Memphis, 23 shot attempts, 18 shot attempts. So he's shooting the ball a ton. I have interest in him at 6'9". Him and D'Lo are the guys I like the best on the Minnesota side. There's still no Rubio. There's still no Hernan Gomez. So Jared Vanderbilt started at the 4 last game. If he starts at the 4 again, I actually think he's a solid value play. He's a decent point per minute guy. He had 29 fantasy points in 29 minutes. I would like Vanderbilt if he starts for value. Now at center, Naz Reid, good point per minute guy. My worry is going up against Vucevic. I'm worried he gets in foul trouble. He just can't keep his hands to himself. So that's the worry with Naz Reid. But if he can stay out of foul trouble, I think he does have some upside. Ed Davis will kind of play the backup 5. You can take a shot on him maybe if you think Naz Reid gets in some foul trouble. And then you have like the fringe value guys that I never feel good about. Anthony Davis. Anthony Edwards played 30 minutes last game. Sure, you can take a shot on him. Okogie, Culver. Again, it's like I don't really like these guys. Like you can take a shot here, but I don't feel confident about any of them. So really for me, it's D'Lo, it's Beasley at the top, Vanderbilt if he starts at the 4, and then maybe you can take a shot in one of those value centers from Minnesota. 4 games left. Phoenix, Houston. So on the Phoenix side, this is a good matchup here against Houston. Do we finally see an upside game from Devin Booker? Like, he's had 40 a couple times. I don't know why he's still priced at 8-2. Like, the price should be lower on him. He just really has not flashed any upside. I think we could see the upside in this game. Houston plays fast. They don't play a lot of defense. Devin Booker had a bad shooting game last game, but I think you would go to him in GPPs just because matchup alone. Chris Paul is probably your safer play. Probably doesn't have as much upside as Booker, but has gotten 30 plus fantasy points the last 4 games. And again, good matchup here, revenge game. I think Chris Paul is firmly in play. DeAndre Ayton. Which DeAndre Ayton are we gonna get? Right? Are we gonna get the DeAndre Ayton that is absolutely abused by Robin Lopez? Yes, I'm not kidding. Robin Lopez took him to school. Robin Lopez. Or are we going to get the DeAndre Ayton that smashes against Memphis? Almost 50 fantasy points. I don't know. I have no idea. But I know the upside is there for him. It is a good matchup. Christian Wood, terrible defender. So I think DeAndre Ayton is in play here in GPPs. Floor with him has been surprisingly low this season. The wings, I don't play Bridges. I don't play Crowder. They're just, no. Cam Johnson at 3.9 is viable because of the price. Minutes up and down. 27, 29, 18, 23. How many minutes do we get? If I knew he was going to play close to 30 minutes, I would play him. But there's a chance. He only plays 18 like he did against Washington. So there is some risk, but he is in play because of the price. No Dario Saric. Frank Kaminsky did get a little bit of run, but I don't think we have to do it. I think that's just getting a little bit too cute. Again, he's a decent point per minute guy, but I don't think we have to go there. So let's move on to Houston. Christian Wood at 8-4. Yes, I am still tilting that he only played 31 minutes last game. If he's only going to play about 30 minutes a game, it just makes him a riskier option, right? He's a fantastic point per minute guy. He had 45 fantasy points in 31 minutes, but only played 31. Now, if he plays 35, 36 minutes, he looks great here. Will we get those minutes, though? I'm not sure. Again, fantastic spot. Like DeAndre Ayton, not a good defender. So I do like the upside here in Christian Wood. Just a matter of does he get the minutes. Now, Victor Oladipo is a guy I was super high on last slate, and he was low owned. He was like 20% owned, 54 fantasy points. Told you guys, running the point, Victor Oladipo has a ton of upside. So I think he is still in play. Should play mid-30s minutes, played 32 last game. Maybe he pushes for 35. So Oladipo firmly in play with no John Wall. I think, definitely viable. Eric Gordon at 5.5, also in play. played 34 minutes, reliant on the scoring. So, like, he's not going to do a ton besides score the ball. So, floor is somewhat low with him. But, yeah, Eric Gordon will get shot attempts up. So, it's the top 3 guys there for Houston in Wood, Oladipo, Eric Gordon. Jayshawn Tate played 30 minutes the last game, so he got the most run of any of those fringe guys. If I had to pick one of those fringe guys, it would be Jayshawn Tate, but I don't really want to go there. And that's it for me for Houston. Let's move on to San Antonio, Golden State. So San Antonio, I just don't like this team because everyone's up and down. Everyone's inconsistent. It's just hard to trust anyone on this team. DeRozan's like the guy you can trust the most, but he's at 8-5. So, yeah, I think if I was going to play one guy from San Antonio, it would be DeMar DeRozan. Again, can stuff the stat sheet. Like the spot here against Golden State. So I think DeRozan is the guy for me if I'm going to play someone in San Antonio. DeJounte Murray does have upside, also has a low floor. So just a GPP play. Keldon Johnson, same thing. Very up and down. Well, Marcus Aldridge, not playing a lot of minutes. Only played 24 minutes last game. I know it was a blowout, but still. Wasn't on pace to play big minutes. Lonnie Walker, a little pricey. Mills, a little pricey. Rudy Gay, minutes are up and down. Good fantasy point per minute guy, just not getting a ton of minutes. Vassell's been getting in the rotation. Like, you could maybe take a shot on him if you want to. But on a 10-game slate, if this is like a smaller slate, if this is like a 2 or 3 game slate, then I have more interest in these guys. 10-game slate, just like the Brooklyn guys. I just don't want to deal with the headache. Like, if I had to play one, it'd be DeRozan. If I had to play one in Brooklyn, it'd be Kyrie. But I don't want to deal with the headache on this slate. I don't think we have to go there. Let's move on to Golden State. So Steph Curry always been played for GPPs. Low floor, ceiling of 60 plus. So perfect GPP play. Like the matchup for him. Wiggins questionable. If Wiggins is out, boost to Kelly Oubre, who actually played well for the first time, I think all season long, would be a viable play. Like Draymond Green last slate, 31 fantasy points. I like him again at 5-4. Good spot. Should play about 30 minutes. Stuffs the stat sheet. I think Draymond's a safe play. Now, if Wiggins ends up getting ruled out, curious to see who they start. Is it Damian Lee? Is it Bazemore? Possible. We've got to keep an eye on that possible value there if Wiggins gets ruled out. If Wiggins is in, I just don't have interest in the value guys. Wiseman, again, I was concerned about the foul trouble risk playing against Anthony Davis, and sure enough, he got in foul trouble. So he's been getting some decent run, but I don't know if we have to go there either. I think, again, decent GPP play, but don't love it. All right, last 2 games here, Sacramento and the Clippers. So Sacramento, don't love the spot here. Fox at 8-9 went absolutely nuclear that last game. 77 fantasy points. Again, tougher spot here, more of a contrarian play. I'm not playing Buddy Hield. Rashawn Holmes at 6'4 played 42 minutes. If we're going to get like 40 minutes out of Rashawn Holmes, of course he's viable. But again, foul trouble concerns there. This is the Harrison Barnes I know and love, right? This is what I'm talking about with Harrison Barnes. This is who I know. 41 minutes, 14 fantasy points. That is the Harrison Barnes I know. I don't know this like consistent Harrison Barnes putting up 30 fantasy points a game, even flashing a little bit upside. That's not Harrison Barnes. Again, this is the Harrison Barnes I know. So no, I'm not playing Harrison Barnes at 6'3". I do want to mention Marvin Bagley's minutes because really surprising, they've been all over the place. 23, 19. 31 and 36. So how many minutes do we get from Bagley? I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. But if he plays over 30, of course he's viable. So yes, again, played 31 and 36 minutes last couple games. That makes him more in play. That's it for me on Sacramento. Clippers side, like Kawhi, like Paul George. Could have won some huge money the other day if Sacramento could have kept it close. Had a low on Kawhi, 43 3/4. Yep, still tilting about that one. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard, 9-4. Love the matchup. Love the matchup for him. Love the matchup for Paul George. These guys are both in play. Just a matter of can the Kings keep it close. And they got blown out last game. So there's obviously some blowout risk here. Ibaka's back, so that takes Zubac out of play. Pat Beverly's priced right. Marcus Morris at 4-7. Did play 27 minutes. Again, priced up. Now he's priced about right. Like I think you could still go there, but don't love the price on him. Kennard played a little bit more because of the blowout. I don't really want to get to anyone else in the Clippers. Final game here, Memphis and Portland. And yeah, this is the game I want exposure to. Ja Morant, 7.3K. 7.3K for Ja Morant against Portland. Played 34 minutes last game. So looks like there's no more minutes restriction. One of the best possible spots. I absolutely love Ja today. 7.3K is just way too cheap. So, yeah, he's going to be popular. I don't care. John Moran is one of the best plays in the slate. Love the matchup for him. Way underpriced for the spot. Now, there's no Jonas Valanciunas. He's out. So, Xavier Tillman started at center last game. He's already been a decent point per minute guy. Started and played 29 minutes. If he starts at center again, I think he's got to be one of the top value plays in the slate, right? Also power forward and center eligible. So really like Xavier Tillman if he does start at center. Gorgie Jang will play the backup 5. Maybe there's an outside chance they start him, but I think Xavier Tillman will probably start. So if he does, like him a lot. I also really like Brandon Clark at 6K. Minutes for him have been solid. 34, 30, and 35. Again, good matchup here. So I have interest in Brandon Clark. Man, I want to target players against Portland. So Ja, Brandon Clark, Xavier Tillman. I like all three quite a bit. Slow-mo, fine. Dylan Brooks, minutes are going down on him. Scoring dependent. Don't love it. Everything else, just don't think we have to go there. So that's it for Memphis. Let's finish up with Portland. No CJ McCollum. No Nurkic. It's Dame time. Dame time. Now, 10-4, not a cheap price. But it's a scary fade. Going up against Memphis with no CJ, no Nurkic. This offense is going to be Damian Lillard. Shot the ball 23 times last game. So really like the upside here on Dame at 10-4. Enes Kanter, I still like at 6-3. 29 and 27 minutes. Had a subpar game, 26 fantasy points, but he's a good fantasy point per minute guy. Should get, about 25 or so minutes, maybe a little bit more. I think Kanter's a solid play in the mid-range. Then we get to the headache situation of the wings. Yes, these guys are all in play, but don't really feel super confident about any of them. Rodney Hood started last game, shot the ball amazing, 9 of 14. Just be warned, right? Floor is pretty low in a guy like Rodney Hood. So, yes, he's in play. Ownership might be up after the last game. Again, does have a low floor. Derrick Jones Jr. at 4-1 also has a low floor. Played 34 and 30 minutes last couple games, but again, not a great fantasy point per minute guy. Melo at 4-7. I think Melo is probably the guy I like the best. Again, still has some low floor too. I don't really feel confident about any of these wings, but they're more viable. Gary Trent Jr. was like 60% owned in that early slate. Very reliant on the scoring. So I'm not surprised he had 6 fantasy points, right? He does nothing besides score the ball. So you got to know what you're getting into if you play Gary Trent. The floor is literally single-digit fantasy points. And then Robert Covington at 5K. Yeah, I guess he's viable. These guys, these wings are all playable, but I don't really love any of them. Harry Giles will play the backup 5, played 15 minutes last game. You could take a shot at him at GBPs at min price. But yeah, that's really it for Portland. And I think that's going to do it for the video today, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content so far, I would really appreciate if you leave a like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload videos you know when I go live. Thanks again. Hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you all tomorrow.